Hello. I have come today to do a little video. There's several things that I want to try. I'm not sure if I'm going to get them all into one video. It might be a little kind of mini series like my last month's one for my challenge in my Facebook group. This month's challenge is Make It Mini. And I've never made small things for a small journal. So this month I've actually started to journals myself. So these are my mini journals, which is why my camera is very close to me. So I'm probably going to knock it today. It is basically just like my journals, but mini. But you don't have to make a journal for the challenge. You can make anything that you would normally make, but make it mini. So I'm just going to talk through a couple of the little things I've done so far. The lovely Gail sent me some fantastic papers, and I shrunk them down, and I've made these kind of little pocket pages for my mini journal. Oh, I have a random page there. It was quite fun actually, and some of the, I mean, this is an Edith Holden page, and obviously I've lost the little bird's head there, but it looks really cute when you cut it down. I mean, this is a small Edith Holden book anyway, it's not a full-size one. This is another one of Gail's gorgeous pages. Yeah, I've got little flip outs. I found some really small vintage books, so there are still some full book pages in here. This is another one of Gail's pages that I've turned into a little tuck. Obviously there's a lot to do. This is what one of the things we'll be working on today. I've got a little fold out of this vintage book page, another little pocket, and then basically we're in the middle, so it's just the other side now. So we're going to make some mini pockets, mini tags, mini envelopes. I've got a little fantastic thing that I got from Jessica Wrap. Thank you, Jessica. I spoke to Jessica this morning about it, and I'm going to show you. But do go and check out Jessica's video too. So this one is the slightly bigger one, in as much as it's a little bit wider. As you can see, they're the same height. So I've made some mini pockets for these journals, and I thought we could start by making a couple of mini pockets today. So these ones are the really diddy ones, and one of my favourite things are my tiny bits. You don't have to use these tiny bits. In actual fact, we're going to use a few little things because this one is going to be very slightly different. So I've got two really old books. These are the books that I used for the book pages. So I've got this one that's slightly torn. I'm going to just pull that one out. And I have this English-French commercial correspondence book. So there's some pages that are loose in here. I'm just going to pull one of those out too. So we're going to do some teeny tiny collaging. I'm just going to start by tearing a little bit off there. This one we're going to have a few numbers on. I'm just going to tear a little bit of that off. Hopefully the camera's not too close, but it's close enough for you to see because it's obviously little tiny things. I actually really like that piece. What I'm going to do, I'm going to have this upside down, but I'm going to have a straight edge along there. Line that up against my stitches. Going to have that there, and I'm going to use the French side just because it looks pretty. Oh, sorry, I told you I was going to jog everything today. The camera is very close to my head, so I'm going to try not to talk too loudly either because I don't want to kind of shout at you. Okay. a little bit there, and then I'm going to go long here. That's too big. So we'll have a little bit there. Put that aside. I'm going to ink these little pieces up. I think I definitely need, look at that. Hopefully you can see how bad that is. I think I have two, maybe I've got a couple left anyway. I just don't know where I've put them. I have no idea. They're somewhere. I will have to have another look. While I'm just inking, I wanted to say again a massive thank you to everyone who took part in last month's challenge. Not just took part, but the amount of altered notebooks that were sent out as gifts. It was amazing. And I know I keep saying it, but it really did kind of blow me away how generous everybody was with sending out the notebooks that they altered and then you know, sent to other members of the group and other people too. They didn't, you know, they weren't just sent to members of my group, they were sent to other groups too. So that's lovely. I was just, you know, I think it was amazing. So this month's challenge is I'm sure not going to be quite as popular as last month's because, you know, so many people took part. It was amazing. And it wasn't even, you know, a necessity that you sent your altered notebook out as a rack. It was just taking part, and so many of you did both. It was so kind of everybody. So yeah, I got this fantastic paper from Gail. I've just picked up some fantastic tea-dyed paper from the lovely Rachel too. This is going to be, I'm going to be using Mrs. Cog images for this project. I'm going to use the Muka kit that she has. It's fantastic, so pretty, and you know, having so many of the images available to download in one go, perfect. Okay, so got my little minis, and I'm not really sure what I'm gonna, how I'm heading. I might go for some images because I have, oh no, that's tiny teeny music paper. That one's quite nice. Goes quite nice on there. I mean, you can use images from books. They're perfectly, you know, perfectly fine, but it's just finding things that are small enough. Any kits that you have, of course, you can shrink down and print, you know, several per page. I'll show you some that I've printed in a minute. Not really sure. Oh, that's cute. That's cute. Got some blue. That kind of, yeah, I like that. Okay, so I've got my little bits. I've got a couple of other things that I might try. I think this one needs to go on this side because I'd like to add, although that covers up most of the, no, it's going to stay there. It's actually really cute working on little things, and I started to get a little bit addicted last night. Once I decided what I was going to do, I was just going to make mini things, and then I thought, no, I'm going to make a journal. So, you know, I started making a journal, and then it ended up being 2 journals, and that's what I sat and did for several hours. Well, yesterday and last night. I couldn't put it down, really. Couldn't stop. Now, I have printed some of my simple labels. These ones I printed 4 per page, and then these ones I printed 6 per page. They are tiny and I just love them. So I'm thinking I'm going to have to go for the 6 per page because these are really little pockets. So don't think you've got to use anything that's mini. You can just shrink it down and make it mini yourself. Okay, I want a label on these 2. I think the lighter one. And I couldn't have found a big pair of scissors to cut this out. These are my glue scissors, my white ones, so I don't really want to use those because they're sticky. Probably due for a bit of a clean. Yep, I'll just grab another pair of scissors. Oh, these are a bit better. Only these are like, they've got that kind of serrated edge, which is a bit of a problem when you're cutting out something so small. So I'm just cutting over here to get all of the rubbish out of the way so it's not on. Right, so just a little bit of ink. That one. They're so cute. Right, this art glitter glue is perfect for this kind of job because everything's so tiny. And you've got that nice edge if you buy the tops for them. These are, you know, all of these little bits, they're my, I think, did I call them tiny embellishments or mini embellishments? And then I've printed them even smaller. They're, I'm pretty sure I printed these 4 per page, so they were pretty small. They took a bit of cutting out. I didn't use my scan and cut, which is probably would have been a good idea. I just put these little pockets together. There's a lot of people that make tiny journals quite often. I know Liz, the Paper Project, is one person I see making a lot of mini journals, and I think I've heard her say that they're actually quite addictive, and I can see why. I mean, they don't take any less time, I don't think, to make than a larger journal. You've still got all of the same work to do, just in miniature. But it is super cute. So for the challenge, you could decide to just make tags. I didn't do a very good job of that. You could make some mini envelopes. You could make a mini journal if you wanted to. You could make a mini folio. Anything mini. And if you want inspiration, you can go over and watch Angie, who's Itty Bitty on YouTube. I'll try and remember to link her below. Very talented, and some of the bits and pieces she makes are, you know, you need specialist materials and things for, but her work's amazing. So that's our 4 Diddy pockets. Very simple, little collagey cluster kind of thing. I'd already, all these were a square of Tim Holtz, you know, the little mini bits. I've just, you know, edged it. I didn't make that very straight, did I? So that's the pockets. Now we're going to make the little tags to go in them. So I have 2 slightly larger. These are 4.5 centimeters. I haven't measured my journal. I think the pages are 10 centimeters high. What's that in inches? About 4 inches. So it's a 4-inch journal, and I think one of them is 7. This one is a total of 7 inches, but the pages are only 6, and the other one's 8 inches and the pages are 7 centimetres, sorry, not inches. Now I printed these, I printed them at first and they were a little bit too big, but I'm going to do something else with those. So I've printed these for Mrs. Cog's images for these tags. Now what I have is, I mean, look at this. This is the kit from Liz, and obviously it's printed very small, so hopefully you can see that. And this is one of the sheets from Gail, her new kit, and this is one of the other pages. This is my all-time favourite. I absolutely love it. But I'm going to use this one, I think, to start with, because it's a little bit of a smaller pattern. I didn't print it smaller like I did for the journal pages. So the first thing I'm going to do is just trim a bit of the edge off here, and I hope I can keep most of this in frame. Like I said, I have got the camera quite close today, and I'm going to cut the bottom off. And I know it's going to be not quite right and straight, but I'm just going to cut a strip. Okay, so this first one, wow, I only just made that long enough. It's going to be too, oh yeah, it will fit. Okay, I'm just going to glue this on first of all. I was going to go over to my Fabri-Tac, but I think this is still a good call for my glue. Just line that up with the bottom. It just fits in there. Got a little bit of trimming to do. If I can pick it up. I knew it. I should have gone for my Fabri-Tac. This is already warping. That is a real bugbear of mine. I do not, and you know, I know I can put it in a book and it will flatten out, but, and I know I can stick stuff to the other side too, but it's not quite the same. So I'm going to do one of the larger tags, and then I'm going to do one of the smaller ones. So we'll just make a couple of the tags today. It's just for ideas. This is not, you know, it's just to give people some ideas of what you can do, how you can make something mini. Exactly the same process as anything else you do, obviously, just smaller. It's already curling. Oops. Okay. Ah, look what I did. That wasn't very good, was it? Right, okay. I'm gonna have to cut the bottom off that tag. That tag's now slightly smaller. Let's hope it still, yes, it will still fit in our, okay. Right, so that one I'm going to mount as it is. This one I'm going to add some cheesecloth behind it. Okay, now what I'm going to do to make this easy, I'm laying the cheesecloth down. I'm going to just ink my image. I am going to use my Fabri-Tac. Glue the back. Oh, and then get my, there we go, hold that in place, and I'm going to put the image down. So I don't have to try and glue that cheesecloth into place. And then I'm going to trim the cheesecloth afterwards. I hope to do a video. I was going to do it today, but then kind of got caught up with making my mini journals. But I'm going to do a video on the different types of fabrics and, you know, what we call them in the UK and what they kind of feel like and what they look like. So maybe you can find your equivalent, because I've been asked, I do get quite a lot of emails about it. And I'm explaining it in emails quite often, so I thought it might be a good idea to just, you know, do a little video on the difference here with what we call cheesecloth, muslin, calico, canvas, and other types of cotton fabrics. Thought that might be useful. So if you do want that, then just let me know, and I think it is something I want to do, because like I said, I do get a lot of emails about it. So this one I'm going to go straight down. I'm not going to layer this one up. Okay, so that's the first little tag. You can just about see that cheesecloth. It's not very clear on the camera, but it's clearer in real life. Now, this is the amazing Jessica's idea. I've been looking, every now and then I get onto eBay and have a little look for the whaletail tab punch, and I've never been able to find one. I've been able to find one that's quite expensive, but they still wouldn't ship to the UK. It was kind of like a US marketplace. But can you see this? This is my tiny tag that I've made for this journal. This is this is a larger one that I made just to make sure I could do it before I, you know, thought I'd make them on camera. But these are going to be my tabs for these tags. I'm not going to use those two because they're not the colour I want. So I've got this, you know, the Tim Holtz smally bits. And I'm gonna go for this square here, and this is just a rough square. I'm not worried about cutting these out perfectly. So what I did, and you know, please do go and check out Jessica's because it's awesome. This is my 1-inch hole punch, but the other one I did with my 2-inch. If you want to know how to do that, I can show you. Actually, what we'll do is I'm going to show you on large scale because it might be a lot easier to see. Okay, so take my card, take my 2-inch punch, and I'm going to punch out my circle. And then I need to fold this in half. Okay. Right, now this, Jessica didn't do this, but this is what I did because I found it easier for me because I couldn't really see what I was doing. Is I'm gonna use that crease to draw a line, and I'm using pen, and I'm doing it on the inside so it won't be seen once this is finished. Okay, then I'm gonna just grab my ruler and I make a mark at 1 centimetre either side of that circle. Okay, doesn't have to be spot on, but as close as you can. Then I'm going to just fold it back on itself so it's inside out, and I'm holding it so this is, you know, parallel to me. Then I'll take my 1-inch punch. So you just need a smaller punch than you used for the circle. And can you see these little this little raised bit in the middle? I use that as a guide, just the edge of it. It's probably really difficult to see, but I'm going to just slot my circle in, and I'm just lining the top of my tag, my circle, or the half circle, lining that up with the top of the little bit that sticks out, and the edge of the tag I'm lining up with the edge of that circle. So I'm just, I don't know if you can see where the pen mark is. Can you see? Oh, this is driving me crazy. It was so easy with my old phone. This way. Okay, so I'm just lining that up, and it's not square to you, so you're not going to be able to see quite the way I do. But I'm lining that up, and I'm just going to punch that. And then I'm going to turn it around. My line hasn't come over the other side. And just do the same on the other side. I do hope I'm trying to make this clear. Jessica was very good at it. It's in her large altered envelopes that she's just made, her newest video. So can you see we actually have, that's going to be the inside, so there you go, we actually have what looks like a whale tail tab. It's not perfect, but if you're like me and not been able to get one, it's pretty good. Now these ones I made in exactly the same way, but I used my 1-inch punch and then my very little punch, so you can do it exactly the same. And you could also, if you wanted to, just make a little template and do that yourself. Once you've got one, you could just cut, you know, it's a lot easier, isn't it, once you've got one. Well, at least me trying to show you, not in as good a way as Jess did today, but I think they're fantastic. I think it's a brilliant idea, absolutely brilliant idea. Now I'm going to use my Fabri-Tac because I'm going to be sewing, and I know my machine's good when it comes to going through the old Fabri-Tac. I'm going to just, again, they're not perfect, but if you're not able to get one of those punches, I'm pretty happy with it, I've got to say. So thank you, Jess, for that brilliant idea. And the other thing, when you're inking small little things like this, I tend to get very brown fingernails. Like I said, it's not perfect, but that's not bad. That's not bad. Oh, crazy phone. There we go. So I'm going to just take these over to my sewing machine and go round the, I think on this one, I'm going to go round, on this one I'm going to go round the image, and on this one I'm going to go round the outside of the tag. I'll be right back. Hello. I didn't listen to myself. I did zigzag round both of them, and because it was so short, I was going a bit fast, and as you can see, I've made a slight error on the stitching up in that top left hand corner, but luckily because of the pattern you don't really see. So yeah, I didn't do straight stitch around one and zigzag around the other. They are both zigzag around the image, but I think they are super cute. I just want one more little bit to finish them off, and that is, of course, I want a label, because I'm just label mad at the moment. These colours, these the neutrals, they go perfectly with Liz's kit and also with Gail's paper. So, you know, these are my choice. I don't know how long the first video was. Hopefully we're not hours and hours. And then, of course, I will do a couple of more things, probably not in this video, there might be a two-parter, but I'm gonna do a flip through once the journals are finished. Yeah, I like those. going to go for my little glue, my art glitter glue. We should be okay over the top of that cheesecloth. I don't think it's going to be too much of a problem. It's quite a little label, and it's going to be partially on the paper, so this one I think I might have hanging off slightly. Just cut the end of that. Here's my glue scissors. And that is my 2 mini tags done with the tiny tab at the top. So this is going to slot quite nicely into one of my mini pockets. So this is the one we're going to be doing. Let's just pop this on a page. Oh, that was the other book. So I have some Edith Holden pages in here, but on the other journal I've used the pockets on there. This one I actually like the papers too much, so I'm going to find, I think I might pop it onto the back of this Gale paper. Let me just move that. This pocket is just about big enough. It's going to avoid that crease. Let's put our tiny pocket down. Oh, it's so cute. I really can see why people are addicted to making these tiny journals. I really can. Right. So this is our mini page. Oh, got a bit of glue stuck to myself there. Make sure that's stuck. Put my lid on there. Okay, so that's our little page with our tiny pocket, and then our little tag to go inside there. I'm not going to put it in just yet because the glue's still a bit wet, but that's going to be, that's that page. And then that's that gorgeous Gale paper. Where's that one? Ah, that's because I made them slightly smaller. And they've also, we've got these little pockets here, and I've got lots more of the gorgeous Mrs. Cog, so they'll just slot into there. Just need to back them. So there we go. That's our Make It Mini pocket and tag. That will go in. There we go. Like so. Well, I hope you enjoyed the Make It Mini episode number 1. I will be back with something else mini very soon. Bye.